Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob Dagate, and it's now my pleasure to have joining us in studio Archie Chaisson, the president of Lafourche Parish. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, Jacob, thanks for having us again.
All right. Again, we're talking a little bit about before the break on just Hurricane Ida and the devastation it caused. A lot of work to be done. Of course, housing remains an issue. Can you give us an update on the housing situation?
Yeah, housing has been slow and continues to be slow, Jacob. And as President Dove was walking out, we were having those conversation about those numbers. We have about, on the FEMA side, we have about 185 units on the ground. 50 of those are ready for electricity. About 50 of those are ready for occupancy, and we have only 33 that are licensed in. And on the state program side, we have about 180 of them on the ground, with about 100 or so people living them and licensed in. They were trying to make a big push to get a huge amount licensed in for Thanksgiving. That way people would have homes, and I'll be anxious to see when we get those numbers tomorrow or Friday if that actually happened. But it's been a very slow process, and it's something that every Wednesday we have these conference calls with FEMA and the state about the housing mission and how it's looking, and we continue to harp on them about why it's taking so slow. Why is it that it's taken us 85 plus days to only have 33 units licensed in on the FEMA side and 100 or so licensed in off the state program, and we've asked for 3,000. So we know that people are still living in homes that are gutted or have mold in places they probably shouldn't. We still have people living in their cars with their pets. We get messages all day, every day, with people trying to figure out where they are on that priority list. So we're trying to work through both FEMA and the state's program to figure out where they are with that, and try to hopefully get them in to some side of stable. I hope to see a huge push between Thanksgiving and Christmas, that by Christmas time we have kids in some type of stable living environment.
Sure, and I'm sure it is frustrating to the public out there who just thinks, well, why can't just haul them and then plug them in? But of course, when anytime you involve the federal government and they're footing the bill for it, so that they got these boxes that you got to check.
Yeah, and it's been slow for a couple of reasons. It's, in the beginning, it was getting the units actually down here, and then it became an issue with, well, how do we power them? On the FEMA side, they require a temporary power pole. They can't just plug them into your existing meter, so the customer has to work to set up a second account number. On the state side, they actually plug these things directly into your house if you have power to your structure or whatever's left of it. So those are a little bit simpler, which I think is why you see a few more of those on the ground than the FEMA units that have been licensed in. But then you got to COVID clean them, and you got to do all this other fun stuff. So it's a multi-step process to get them there instead of just dropping it off in the driveway, hooking up the utilities, and then getting going, right? So it'll be a struggle, but we still work every day. We still work every day on debris pickup. We picked up about 941,000 cubic yards of debris so far. Our contractors left on Monday to go home for the holiday on Thanksgiving, so they'll be driving back on Sunday, and we'll be starting those passes again on November 29th and December 1st. Everybody north of the intercoastal will be doing the kind of the third and final pass. So if you do have anything left, you have to get out if you're still good in your house. Now's the time to really get that stuff to the road, so when they come back after Thanksgiving, they're going to make that third and final pass. And then we're going to turn that area back over to our typical debris contractor, who's River Birch, and then focus all the trucks on the southern of the parish, south of the intercoastal. And the hope and the prayer is that we get these guys out of here by Christmas, that we have the bulk of it picked up, and at sometime around Christmas we can turn that southern part of the parish and the Pontchartrain community back over to River Birch as well. So about 400,000 yards of vegetative debris, about 536,000 cubic yards of construction debris. So we're well on our way. We know we have probably about 300,000 yards left on the ground, somewhere around there. So when they come back from the Thanksgiving break, they're still going to have some work to do.
All right, and have y'all had any, issues with the Waterways and debris in waterways and getting that out?
Yeah, so we were really lucky. So Bayou Lafourche is a federal navigation channel. So the Navy, the Coast Guard, and one of their debris contractors came in. We had about 25 vessels that sunk in Bayou Lafourche from about Raceland south down to Port Fourchon that we had to deal with. So they came in several weeks after the storm and got them out in short order. It only took them a couple of weeks with their salvage contractor. There are still some vessels, if you get to the Leeville community, that are in the marsh. So we're working with those vessel owners and FEMA to figure out how to get those things out of those marshy areas. But the rest of the waterways are really clear of vessels. They're just chock full of mud. All the marsh that we lost, found its way into the navigation channels, and now we have to figure out how to get them out. So we're working really closely with Chip Klein up at CPRA to figure out how we do that long term. None of those channels are federal channels, so the Corps is somewhat backed off of them. But we're working very hard to figure out, how do we get in there dredge that material out of there and then put it back where it was. So we have that buffer system up against, especially Wendell's levee system in South Lafourche. The marsh around Wendell's system did all it could to stop the storm. And it proved that when you fly over it and you see those pictures, it's pretty catastrophic, the damage it did to the marsh. So being able to put that stuff back where it was and have that buffer again, and like, hopefully in nobody's lifetime we see another storm like this, but if we do, we want to make sure we have something on the outside of the system to help protect it.
Yeah, and I know we've been in meetings together when we're talking about some of those bayous or channels are so silted in you can almost walk across them right now with all that marsh is just pushed right in there.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a chore to get it out, whether we do it with some type of dredge, whether we do it with marsh buggy excavators and working together with you guys over at Terrebonne Levee District, Dwayne and Wendell over at North and South Lafourche. It's going to be a very combined effort between the levee districts, the parishes, to help put all this stuff back together.
Okay, got a few seconds left. How about parish buildings themselves? Have you had a lot of damage, or are y'all still working out of temporary spaces?
Yeah, so everybody's, the only people who kind of still displaced, believe it or not, is some of our libraries. Our Galliana complex was a total loss. The roof came off and we're in the process of gutting it. But we added it up the other day. We have about $107 million in total parish infrastructure that's damaged. Whether you talk about 22 million in debris, 44 million in pump station repairs that we need to do, and then the rest, we have about $34 million in building repairs. So it's going to be a while before we get it all put back together.
Holiday season is upon us already, and we have I'm sure there's a lot of events taking place in Lafourche Parish. Can you tell me what's going on?
Yeah, kind of tis the season. We have a whole host of Christmas parades coming up. It's finally good after a couple-year break of those things because of COVID and just everything else that was happening in the world. Thibodeau's Christmas Parade is coming up on the Sunday, December 5th. Roll from Nichols through downtown Thibodaux. It'll be a really cool event, like it always is. Thibodeau's a little bit, I'll say, farther advanced because of the storms. They have a lot more street lights, so their parade will still be a nighttime event. On December 18th, the town of Lockport is having their annual Christmas parade. They will not be doing the annual kind of tree lighting ceremony at the Bayou Park because of the damage from the storm, but on the 18th at 2 o'clock, the town of Lockport will roll their Christmas parade through town, and the parade will culminate kind of where it always starts, on Church Street around Holy Savior, but then everybody will drift over to the Lockport Community Center, which is just outside of town. We're doing pictures with Santa and a movie night for the kids with popcorn and stuff like that. So there was a big meeting. All the typical community crusaders from Lockport got together last night to try to figure out how to decorate the gym and really pump it up for the kids. We weren't sure if we were going to have a Christmas parade this year, but it's going to be a great event to roll in the afternoon, a little bit safer. Still some street lights out in the town of Lockport, but the Lockport Carnival Club is the Grand Marshal this year for them, in memory of Mr. Brian Hebert, who was a longtime fixture in the crew of Apollo, which is Lockport's Mardi Gras crew, who passed away last year because of COVID. So they're going to roll in his honor on the 18th. And then talking with Chief Devin Denon from Fire District 3, I think South Lafourche is planning something, I want to say the 11th or the 12th of December, so we'll make sure to get that information to you. But kind of a mini golf cart parade for South Lafourche to give the kids something to look forward to. And then also on December 12th, we're going to be doing kind of Welcome Home Lafourche. It's a project in coordination with the parish government, the sheriff's office, and the district attorney's office. We're going to have face painting for the kids, pictures with Santa, fun games and stuff like that. But it also, we'll have music, food, drinks, all that other cool stuff, car seat checks, as you can see on the flyer, police cars and fire trucks the kids could get in. But there's also going to be a mental health component there. We're going to have counselors that we have on staff, the DA's office and the sheriff's office has on staff to help people cope with kind of the post-Ida woes, and then combine that with Christmas time or Thanksgiving with how are you going to put food on the plates, how are you going to put Christmas presents under the tree, things like that. So it's got a really cool event. It was something that Christine Russell, our DA, Sheriff Weber, and I got together about with our teams a couple of weeks ago, and just kicked it to them and said, look, you guys are the professionals when it comes to this mental health stuff. Let's put together an event that people can come to and really rally around it, the community again. So really good events happening in December, and then I think after the birth of the new year, hopefully, we said this at the end of 2020 that 2021 would be better. And we got rocked by a fourth surge of COVID and a hurricane, but we're really looking forward to 2022. You're going to see a whole host of projects coming through the parish. We're going to have about $600 million worth of work happening in the South Lafourche community next year as LA1 breaks ground, the last part of the elevated highway. We've broken ground on the new airport access corridor that'll connect the 4-lane highway, the back road, Highway 3235 to the Port Commission's airport. You're going to have bridge repairs happening that are somewhat storm related, but stuff that we had on the books that we're going to continue to push forward, getting some of our pontoon bridges and our lift span bridges kind of up to snuff, fresh paint, fresh electronics, stuff like that. So I think we have a whole lot to be thankful for, especially with Thanksgiving being tomorrow in a post-Ida world, and although our community was hit pretty hard, and whether you're talking about Terrebonne or Lafourche, the fact that we didn't lose any lives, the fact that we are rebuilding, and although it's slow when we talk about housing and stuff like that, that we're all still here and we're all still around family and friends. A lot to be thankful for this season.
Well, certainly. And now, of course, there was Hurricane Ida, and then, like I said, before that you had COVID, and we haven't had Mardi Gras in a long time. Hopefully, in 2022, we can look forward to having that.
Yeah.
Well.
So all the we met with the mayors. All the Thibodaux parades are rolling. All the crews in Thibodaux are going to roll. Lockport is still kind of figuring out what they're going to do. I'm pretty sure they're going to roll because we used some of their floats for the Christmas parade as well. So they didn't have a whole host of damage. I think what you're going to miss is those South Lafourche parades. There's already been a couple of crews that their float barn sustained a significant amount of damage. Versailles, the crew at Neptune down at the men's parade down in Golden Meadow. Excuse me. Those guys are not going to roll. But hopefully we have some semblance. We've talked to the sheriff's office about how do we merge crews if a couple of them want to get together and roll. If we can kind of put together a couple of floats that they can ride with. So we're going to be working on that over the Christmas season, and then hopefully see some good fun parades come 2022.
Good. Were y'all able to have last year? Y'all had Christmas parades. Were y'all able? Or
no, we didn't. We didn't have any Mardi Gras last year. We didn't have any Christmas parades at all. COVID in 2020 messed up that Mardi Gras season because it kind of happened right around that time is when it really flared up. A lot of us went to Washington Mardi Gras in DC the back end of January, and then when we came home is really when it blew up. So we canceled all the local parades through 2020, and in 2021 we were kind of in that third wave at that point, I guess. So it kind of shot Mardi Gras down for this last year. So knock on some wood, we get some favorable conditions and we're able to pull it all together.
Yeah, and hopefully all the infrastructure is back in place. I know that still continues to be a work in progress, getting all those street lights and everything, debris off the road and all that.
Yeah, we have about 7,000 street lights across Lafourche, and probably about 75% of those are damaged. So hopefully Energy has their assessments done by mid-December, and we start to see some progress hopefully before Mardi Gras next year.
All right. Well, we certainly thank you for joining us, and we wish you the best holiday season, and thank you for all the hard work that you're putting in.
Thanks, Jacob.
All right. Stay tuned for more right here on HTV.